One performance that haunted me for a while is Joseph Fiennes' performance of the character Fred Waterford from the TV series The Handmaid's Tale. And I don't know how accurate it was to the book, but I would say that based on his performance, I think what really stuck with me was that sort of blend of being proud and melancholy at the same time. And I think what was interesting to me about it is that usually a lot of those traits you see in this term I remember I learned a couple of years ago recently about, they're called Byronic anti-heroes, based on Lord Byron, right? That they tend to have a blend of these sorts of these qualities. But what was the interesting thing, of course, is that Fred Waterford in The Handmaid's Tale, unlike the anti-heroes, is very much at the top. Right, he's the highest authority in the land, and yet he has some of those moody qualities of people who we generally associate with being more of the downtrodden, the people, the troublemakers, the people kind of on the outside of society, and a lot of that I think is through the individual performance of that particular actor, right? I think particularly as a British actor, he brought a lot of those skills to playing the American sort of character, which I think is another thing that adds that extra layer of complexity to him. But I think that there's a much bigger, broader picture to this too. I think that, on the other hand, when you look at the storyline of The Handmaid's Tale, I would say that there are some things, however, that seem a little bit lacking. I would say that maybe they do sometimes seem a bit one-dimensional when you compare it to other dystopias like the one I discussed, The Clockwork Orange, because The Clockwork Orange will bring in, will depict religion and maybe even patriarchy, arguably, but as a sliver, like one ploy, just one little tiny aspect of this entire society of sort of conflicting ideologies and different kinds of methods that you see that the government and the legal system using. So you see, as I've used the analogy I've used before, the way that it's all more like a chess game constantly that's being played. And you get to see more of that interrelationship between those in power and those below them, and the ways that those sides can really start to mimic each other. And I would say that is maybe what is lacking in The Handmaid's Tale, that it only focuses on a part of the system that we're fairly familiar with. But I think, however, though, I mean, I would say that there are, of course, as I said, some strong points. There's that intensity, there's that sense of, there's a very climactic, sometimes very beautiful quality, but I would say that when you look at other dystopias, though, they tend to have a broader view.